24, they stop. Pitching tonight for the Nattys, number 8, Jace Stratafora. Now we direct your attention to the leaderboard. Good shot, ladies and gentlemen.
And Stacy had to come save him because his hand was gushing blood.
Now we are starting for the StJosephMustangs. Leading it off, the shortstop, University of West Omaha, number 3, push 4. Number 7, the designated hitter, Northwestern University, number 26, West Ball. That is third, the St. Joseph, Northwestern University, number 36, number 8. That is fourth, first baseman. The winning University player, number 8. That is fifth, that's second base. Southeast University, University, number 21, Carson Pratt. That is sixth, left fielder. Western State University, number 5, Carson Pratt. That is seventh, third base, University of Colorado, number 2, Ethan Howard. That is ninth, the right fielder. Eighth, the right fielder, Northwestern Ohio, number 44, Carl Stevens. That is ninth, the catcher, number 31, Bill Murray. On the mound tonight, Gordon Mustangs, number 17, William Howard. That is the Mustangs back forward, 57 Johnson West. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are from the Blue Drive. And before tonight's game, we'd like for you to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and it will be led by Baylor Solid. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance first, led by Baylor Solid. Baylor?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, remain standing. The recognition to the field as the honor medical is the singing of our national anthem. Tonight, please welcome River Song.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Outstanding. Thank you very much. The StJosephMustangs are often listed with their ball.
Welcome in to another beautiful day of Mustangs baseball, where we are in our final regular season game here at Phil Welch. Mustangs taking on the North Missouri Nattys in game 2 of a two-game doubleheader that we have today. That was a redo of the game that got postponed about a month ago, but this is the final scheduled game. We're only going 7 innings today, so it'll be a little bit of a shorter one, but another opportunity for the Mustangs to win and try to secure themselves the 3rd seed in the Mink League playoffs. Tyler Angerbauer with you in the booth alongside Gabe Porter. And Gabe, we just saw the Mustangs play a great game in a 7-inning run rule against the Nattys about an hour ago, a 14-4 shellacking.
Yeah, that game was nowhere close. It looked rough. The Mustangs, we started that game in the bottom of the first. Mustangs had they had 2 outs with 1 runner on, and they brought that runner across, bringing the score to 3-1, but not before they only allowed 1 more run from the Nattys and put up 14. Run ruled them in 7. So a great pitching, hitting, offensively, both fantastic from the lineup. And we do have a really good one here for you in the second game. It's Christmas in July here at Phil Welch. And something interesting I want to note before we get underway, the North Missouri Nattys only are rolling with 10 players for today's game. So some of the guys from earlier's game for the Mustangs are not playing in the second game. You got some new guys in, so you've got a bit of a shake-up in their rotation. But North Missouri, on the other hand, these guys are playing a back-to-back game I guess if this one ends in a run rule, it won't be 14, but solid 14 innings from them. They are going to be wiped going into playoffs come Monday. As of right now, it stands Mustangs will take on North Missouri on Monday, then travel to the road to take on Clarinda, but it'll all kind of come together after tonight's game, after the Joplin-Chillicothe game. We'll see how that affects some final placements there, but it's going to be a good one, and we'll see if the Mustangs can end it here early.
Yeah, so as we get ready for first pitch, Devin Norwood making his way to the plate for the first time this game. Got an opportunity to play last game. Takes that first pitch and swings and fouls it back. So a first strike to Devin Norwood from Haru Takakawa making his start tonight. He is the traditional Saturday starter that the Mustangs have been using for the past month, and a month where they have just been absolutely dominant, 15-3 coming into today in the month of July, and they're looking to make it 16-3 here against the Nattys in the final regular season. A swing and a miss there makes the count now 0-2 here to Norwood. Norwood, one of the more productive hitters, leading it off for the Nattys tonight, playing in their first ever Mink League season and being able to make the playoffs. Them and Joplin both playing in their first seasons, and quite the impressive feat as both teams coming in brand new, having to collect players that were kind of scattered all around the world, but nonetheless, here they are. They're going in. They'll be the 6th seed going into the playoffs starting on Monday, and potentially a rematch with the Mustangs as that next pitch lands just a tad outside to make the count now 1-2. Takakawa sets and delivers a curveball that doesn't curve high, so the count evens out at 2-2. And Takakawa has been an absolute revelation for this Mustangs pitching staff. The pitching really so-so to start out the season, but Takakawa came in and he immediately settled in. He's had a double-digit strikeout game. He's helped the Mustangs win nearly every single one of his starts. He's been a consistent force here on the mound for the Mustangs.
Yeah, talking to head coach Johnny Coy earlier this week, they're wanting to save as many arms as they can for the playoffs, so only seeing Haru Takakawa probably go 3 to 4 innings, just depends on how the offense is doing, also how Haru is doing. Bounces back off a 60-70. He bounces back the best off of 60 to 70 pitches, so we'll see if he can get it done here as Norwood goes down on a 3-2 count swinging. That's strikeout number 1 for him.
And Takakawa, an extreme strikeout pitcher. He does not pitch to a lot of contact, but he does have an elite arsenal of pitches, 3 different types of fastball and a devastating off-speed breaking ball in his low 70s curve. And he's showcasing that tonight as Norwood goes down on 6 pitches to begin the top of the first. That's going to bring up Grady Ruska, batting in second tonight. Saw time in the 8-hole last game, went 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a double play.
This Nattys team, definitely one that's tired. This is a huge swing and a miss. He was way out in front of that one. He goes down 0-2, but this North Missouri team, I mean, like we talked about, they are just tired. A beat down in earlier's game, 14-4. They took that loss. And with only 10 guys, I mean, there's nobody in the bullpen warming up. You're going to be pulling from your position players to pitch if you need to go into your bullpen. But North Missouri just trying to rest as many as they can, get out of tonight so that they can go into the playoffs on Monday and potentially make a run. But, I mean, it's all up to tonight's game and seeing how things shape up.
Yep, last game, the Nattys were run ruled in 7 innings. That was going to be a full 9-inning game. And tonight there's an opportunity to get run ruled should the Mustangs be able to put on the load of runs. That would be after 6 going into tonight. But a 2-2 count here on Grady. The pitch. Just a tad outside. So the count now 3-2. Ruska able to come down and be able to draw a full count after going 0-2 in the count. The 3-2 offering. Swing and a number right back up the middle. Chris Coy at short has it. The throw over to first is high, but in time. Jaden Little, big first baseman, able to secure the throw for out number 2. And the Nattys, despite being a little tired, able to work a little bit off of Takakawa. He's already up to 12 pitches so far. And that's going to bring up Cole Irwin catching tonight for the Nattys. He and his brother Carson, newer additions to this roster. We'll see what he has to offer here tonight.
After tonight's game, fireworks yet again here at Phil Welch. It'll be the last night of fireworks here at the Phil for the 2026 season. 2027 will be just around the corner in no time, as we're in the last week of Mink League play.
It's kind of crazy just how fast this season has gone, Gabe. We've got 2 short months here in the summer, starting at the end of May, and we're going to be finishing off with potentially the championship on August 1st. And there's a 2-hopper over to short, the throw over to first in time, and Irwin's retired via the 6-3 ground out, and Takakawa able to go 1-2-3 here in the top of the first. We're going into the home half. Mustangs coming on up for the first time. We'll be right back here on YouTube right after this.
Base and everything like that. He because he's on nights, because the supervisor, he covers paint line, tag drivers, and then sub base all at once. Yeah. No, it's not Pangea. It's 37 and I don't know what Paint's building is. The one in the dead center of fucking campus. I'm not sure if there's a number on it. I'm not good with the numbers yet, but I'm hoping I get on the road and just fucking with that place. But I mean, you know how it is in the union. I'm not even gonna be able to put my 2 weeks in. I'm gonna start Monday, which I don't want to do, but fucking want more money and benefits. You probably get some pretty good benefits though, don't you? Oh, really? not ending in the end. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You don't get like that supervisor threat stuff behind you or anything like that. Oh, really?
Well, leading off the Mustangs here at the bottom of the first. First off,
Welcome back to the home half of the first inning, where the Mustangs are going to be sending out Chris Coy, Frank Gall, and Braden Lukart. A devastating top of the lineup for the Mustangs. Here up against Jace Thompson Spatafora. JTS out there on the mound. Played the outfield in game one, played left and center. Had a pretty good day out there at the plate, 2 for 2 with 2 singles and a walk. And Chris Coy making his way up for the first time tonight. He got the game off before this. Eden Myers took his spot. But back in the leadoff spot tonight against the righty Thompson Spatafora. First pitch by Coy is sent high into center field, and making just 2 steps to the closer to the infield is the center fielder, Gage Scott, for out number 1. Coy's retired via the F8 on the first pitch he sees here in the bottom of the first, and that's going to bring up Frank Gall, taking a night off from the field. He'll be designated hitting tonight. Frank Gall, a very good hitter for the Mustangs this season. First pitch he sees, turns out of the way, but called for a strike right there on the inner half of the plate, so he goes down in the count 0-1. And he's a player that we've seen come alive here in the latter half of this season. Really rough tenure to begin his second season as a Mustang, but he sends that one out into the left center gap. But going back to his left to make the catch is the left fielder, Jack Thomas. Frank Gall is retired on 2 pitches, and the Mustangs have 1 more out to play with here in the bottom of the first. That's going to bring up their leader in batting average, Braden Lukart, playing center field tonight.
Braden Lukart, one of the season MVPs, was just announced between the 2 games. Was him and Jaden Little, 2 of the biggest bats in the Mink League, as well as defensive MVPs. He comes to the plate and watches one inside for ball 1.
The first ball thrown by Jace Thompson Spatafora. The count now 1-0 here to Braden Lukart. Lukart and Little, man waiting on deck. Such a powerful duo here for this Mustangs team that's playing its best ball of the season, going into the playoffs, looking to make a little bit of noise. The game that really matters for them right now is the Chillicothe-Joplin game. If that ball is hit way out into right field, and that's going to land for a base hit. Lukart attempts to round first, but decides to travel back, and he's got the first base hit for anybody tonight. That's a nice 2-out single, and something that the Mustangs have been really good about here in the latter half of this season has been putting out runners and runs scored with 2 outs in the game. They've been a very dangerous team to close out, and very dangerous Jaden Little coming on up for his first time tonight. That first pitch to Jaden, taking just a tad high outside. So call is now 1-0 here on Jaden, with Lukart sitting over there at first base. Lukart, a little bit of speed coming out for tonight. The 1-0 offering. Slider there by Thompson Spatafora is taken outside. So the count now 2-0 here on Jaden. Very patient hitter here at the plate, but he does tend to strike out a ton. Second on the team in strikeouts behind Chris Coy as he takes that next pitch in for a called strike. Nice off-speed changeup down at the lower half of the plate. The 2-1 offering here to Little is Thompson Spatafora having to pitch out of the stretch for the first time this evening. That next pitch taken just a tad high, and Little looking at a very favorable 3-1 count. I believe Thompson Spatafora is the first player here in the Mink League that I've seen with a hyphenated last name. Not a very common thing that you see is that next pitch is a slider taken way outside, so Little able to draw the 5-pitch walk. And the Mustangs continuing their 2-out rally here in the first inning as 2 men are on for Carson Schrack. He's been on an absolute tear at the plate this season and over 400 batting average coming into today. That was extrapolated over the course of the entire season. That would lead the team. Lukart currently the team leader in batting average and a shade above 380. First pitch to Carson, taken right there on the inside corner for a called strike, so he's down in the count 0-1. After an off-speed pitch lands inside. Runner in scoring position for the first time tonight for the Mustangs is Lukart sitting over there at second base. That two-seamer is landing outside, so the count evens out at 1-1. That didn't really have a chance. It had some nice spin on it as it was trailing off into the right-handed batter's box. Schrack able to hold up. Another one of these very patient hitters for the Mustangs. The 1-1 offering is taken right on the outer half of the plate, and generous call by our home plate umpires. Schrack now is down to his final strike. It's Christmas in July here at the Phil. We've got Santa Claus and Santa Rally. Lots of decorations, some Christmas-themed music and decorations and graphics here at the Phil. That next pitch taken just a tad inside. It was a good one, and Schrack able to hold off to make the count 2-2. And even though it's a heat index of 105 degrees today, the Mustangs trying their best to stay cool and try to keep the Nattys cool as well. The Mustangs took the heat and were able to lay down 14 runs against this Nattys team, including 10 in the bottom of the 7th, which ultimately sealed the game. That next pitch taken outside, so the count now full on Carson Schrack. Good job by him after going down in the count 0-2, able to lay off 3 good pitches by Thompson Spadafora. The 3-2 pitch, grounded down the first base side, and that is a fair ball. First baseman Vinny Dale takes it to the bag himself, and the Mustangs are retired. They threaten with 2 men on, but nobody's able to come across. As after 1, the Mustangs and the Nattys still knotted at 1. It's knotted at 0. We're going into the second inning. We'll be back right after this.
You know it? What is it? Jingle bells is correct. Underneath the winner, thank you, our rubber chicken and rally. We get some baseball tossed out.
You're going to one opportunity on the level of the computer reserve. There's a members, the 2 courts to go through them. 2, 5, to 0.
We're going into the second inning. Haru Takakawa back on the mound for the Mustangs as he pitches to Vinny Dale, the cleanup hitter tonight for the Nattys. takes that first pitch fastball outside for ball 1. Next pitch is flared out in the left field, and going back is Eden Myers at third, but making the catch is the left fielder Micah Kobacheski for out number 1 here in the top of the second inning. And Takakawa able to get some pretty efficient outs here these past couple batters. Only 2 pitchers required, both to Cole Irwin and to Vinny Dale, to get those outs as Jack Thomas comes up for his first time this evening. Wearing the number 7, he's a righty, playing left field tonight. First pitch he sees is a swing and a miss, and Thomas quickly in an 0-1 hole. We were talking a little bit about the Mustangs Intern of the Year pregame, which there's a couple of our fellow interns getting named, and we quickly wanted to shout out our technician, Nathaniel Brown. That he would be our Intern of the Year, as the entire broadcast that we have here, every single graphic you see, every single camera is all due and thanks to Nathaniel and everything that he does over there in the booth. So we just want to say thank you for all the work that you've done, Nathaniel, and for helping us have such a great season here on YouTube and for the Mustangs.
Yeah, we appreciate your work and making all the graphics and setting everything up, taking it all down before and after. We appreciate all the things that have been done, and you know, not everybody can win Intern of the Year. Maybe we get them a little something. Maybe I'll feel nice and get you like a little trophy or something. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll be back here on Monday at 6:30 for the first playoff game of the year for the Mustangs. That next pitch taken just a tad low, and Davis able to go still down on the count 1-2. And other news for the Mink League, after leading 6-0 early in the game, Chillicothe now only leading 6-5 against Joplin, who's storming back with their powerful offense, leading the entire Mink League in home runs coming into this year. They've been an absolutely incredible team in their first season here in the Mink.
I was going to say Joplin started off that game. They started off 6-0. I mean, it was looking really bad there for a second, but I mean, Chillicothe is able to put across 6 runs in the first, so a lot can happen, and they've just been storming their way back. Chillicothe leads 6-5.
There's a strikeout looking for Jack Thomas, and Takakawa able to retire his second batter via the K tonight. There's 2 quick outs here in the second inning, and that's going to bring up Matt Asher, the third baseman, batting 6th tonight. Wearing the number 14, the righty is getting set to face Takakawa for the first time this season. And we'll tell you a little bit about what the playoff scenarios are going to look like for the Mustangs. As it stands, if the Mustangs are able to hold on and win, they are going to need a loss from the Jailbirds to be able to move up to the 3rd spot in the Mink League. Should they win and Joplin win, they will be moved down to 4th due to be finishing a game behind Joplin with the last night's loss to Clarinda. And if they win and Joplin loses, we'll see the Mustangs as the 3 seed, as they have the run differential tiebreaker on them this season. It's a 1-1 count to Matt Asher. Takakawa sets and delivers. That's Tad outside. And the Mustangs are looking to get that 3 seed, because getting the 3 seed would be a rematch with this Northern Missouri team, who the Mustangs have had their number all year. The Nattys coming into today 1-4 against the Mustangs, with the only win being a 6-4 victory that actually ended the Mustangs' 9-game win streak a couple weeks ago. Our next pitch is a check swing strike, so the count now 2-2 on Asher. If they were to fall to the 4 seed, they'll be playing Chillicothe, who, is we're seeing tonight, is still able to be very dangerous and is able to put out a lot of runs against these high-quality teams. Next pitch is a slider taken low, so Asher now facing a full count. Second batter to reach a full count tonight against Takakawa.
If you're the Mustangs, you definitely want to be able to face Joplin. Honestly, I would say we would rather face Joplin Monday night and then go on the road to play Clarinda. Because I like our odds against Clarinda. We've played really close games against them. I haven't had any crazy losses. I would kind of like a rematch of Carroll.
Yeah,
we dropped one against the road against. Excuse me, we dropped one of the 2 games here at home against them. And I think we could get both if we get a rematch.
Carroll Mustangs finishing the season 2-4 against them, as well as a 2-4 season against Clarinda. Carroll is going to finish with the 2 seed and Clarinda with the 1 seed. Should the Mustangs finish with the 3 seed, that'll be a rematch with the Carroll Merchants for the divisional game on Tuesday. But if they finish with the 4 seed and are able to secure the victory on Monday, that'll be a rematch with the Clarinda A's. Both Iowa teams really making a name for themselves in the MINC this year, as the MINC acronym at Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, really just limited now to Iowa and Missouri. There's a walk to Matt Asher after a full count, and now Carson Irwin coming on up for the first time this game. He's even the count out at 1-1 after taking that fastball down low. Carson led off the game back in the first game for the day. Finished the day 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, but did walk and was hit by a pitch. Takakawa's 1-1 offering is swung and foul tipped off of the chest of the catcher Norman Davis, who's making his triumphant return tonight. Had to figure out a couple of legalese with him before the game to make sure that he was an eligible player, as he wasn't added to the roster until, was it this morning?
I believe this morning or afternoon. Boston Bruce is out indefinitely for the Mustangs. He believed to have a leg injury. Don't quote us on that, but we believe it was a leg injury from him. So he's out indefinitely for the season. We appreciate really everything he did for that lineup. I mean, he was a powerhouse hitter sitting in the 4-5 spot throughout the season. So Norman Davis will be taking his spot. He'll also be replacing Carson Hentz, who played in the first game this evening. And he'll be batting at the bottom of the lineup.
So line drive right up the middle, and Seth Winkler is going to grab it just beyond second base and take it to the bag himself for the fielder's choice final out of the inning. But Takakawa, 1 batter beyond the limit, still pitching hitless to the Nattys. After 1.5, the score still tied 0-0. We're going into the home half of the second here on YouTube right after this.
We've got a reindeer and a gift down there, and they are going to race Santa. Are y'all ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Santa, go!
Come on, Santa. I'm so hot. Give me that again.
Rio sucks. Damn, Rio, you're kind of fast.
Hey, Rio, you look good.
You're kind of fast.
Welcome back to the bottom of the second inning. Mustangs sending up 6, 7, and 8. Micah Kobacheski, Eden Myers, and Charles Stevens going to be batting this inning here against Jace Thompson Spadafora. First pitch to Micah Kobacheski is sent high and foul off the roof, so a strike one to him. And the Mustangs looking to add a little bit extra, trying to get a couple runs across here early against Thompson Spadafora. Jace taking his time on the mound, sets and delivers the next pitch, a pop-up high and short in the left field, and coming in to make the catch is Jack Thomas. So Kobacheski retired via the F7 for out number one here in the bottom of the second. And that's going to bring up Eden Myers, who's filling in today for Tyler Gundelfinger. We saw Gundelfinger win player of the game last game as he was out there at third base, and Myers giving him a day off his feet. Or should I say a game off his feet.
Myers made a couple great snags over there at third in earlier's game. Him and Kobacheski both had excellent days in the 14-4 victory against North Missouri.
You know, I have to resist the urge to call them No-Mo. Because that's how all of, like, a lot of their branding is either just the Nattys or No-Mo. And I'm like, that sounds bad. Let's call them North Missouri. Or let's call them the Nattys. But the count now 1-1 here on Eden Myers after first pitch you saw was taken wide for a strike. Generous call by our home plate umpire. Myers sends that one out into center field, but that's playable for Jade Scott. He's able to make the overhand grab. A couple steps behind him out in left center for out number two. Charles Stevens making his way up, and the game with Joplin and Chillicothe now tied 6-all. Mustangs are going to need a Joplin loss if they want to secure the 3 seed. Otherwise, a win would make the rest of this game inconsequential. They would be finishing with the 4 seed tonight.
Joplin, like we talked about, one of those offenses that is catching on at the right time. Both tied at 6.
It's a team that, even though it's their first year in the Mink League, has been really impressive here. They've got a lot of power hitters. They've got one of the best players in the Mink League in TK Madera. Consistently above 400 in average. Great speed. A little bit of power, too. Not a team that you really want to be facing in the playoffs, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's anybody who can go make a run besides, I mean, the Mustangs, because they're playing really well. I mean, I think the Joplin Jailbirds a team to watch out for. They've been excellent going into the back half. And, yeah, the Mustangs do hold the season the overall record against Joplin. It's tied 3-3, but that tiebreaker would be a run differential, and so St. Joe holds that over them, but we're still 0-0 here going into the top of the third, all in your home of the Mustangs.
Ball leading off. Here at the top of the third. Tim Brewer, Jake Scott. The top of the line.
8, 9, and 1 due up here for the the North Missouri Nattys. Gage Scott, Jace Thompson-Spadafora, and Devin Norwood batting here in the top of the third against Haru Takakawa. First pitch to Gage Scott's fouled down the left field line and out of play, so he goes down in the count 0-1. And he's a player that's been seeing a lot of action out there in center field. Lots of balls hit out to the outfield by the Mustangs tonight against Thompson-Spadafora, who's waiting up here on deck. The 0-1 pitch is taken on over the plate but low to even the count out at 1-1. And Gage Scott is our taco batter of the game, so 100 free tacos should he go through the swinging K. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. A beautiful slider by Takakawa to go up in the count 1-2. The Mustangs are just breezing through this game here. Takakawa sitting at just a hair over 30 pitches through 2+ innings. The pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, and that's free tacos for the crowd. 100 free tacos going out courtesy of Taco Bell, and it is raining tacos here, as that is a swinging K for Gage Scott and a third K for Haru Takakawa. That's going to bring up the 9-hole hitter Thompson-Spadafora on the mound pitching tonight. Also saw time in the outfield. We'll probably see him back in the outfield later this game. He swings at a ball that was up near his eyes, and he taps his chest as he knows that was his error on that. That pitch has nowhere near close to the strike zone. He goes down the count 0-1. The one offering is a beautiful curve. Takakawa keeping him off balance. His count now going up 0-2. And Thompson-Spadafora not knowing what to do here as he faces Haru Takakawa for the first time in his career. The 0-2 offering is swung on and missed. Yet another ball that was high and inside. Takakawa not having the great night at the plate, but nonetheless, still pitching a solid on the mound. Only one hit allowed to the Mustangs so far, but quickly there's 2 outs after back-to-back strikeouts, and that's going to bring up Devin Norwood for the third batter this evening.
Haru Takakawa definitely having himself a night. He's been one of those consistent pitchers who is able to get strikeouts, and he's sitting at 4 on the night. He looks to continue that number here in the top of the third. I mean, 4 strikeouts for him. He just continues to impress night after night. He's, like you said earlier, seeing him mostly on Saturday nights, and majority of those Saturday night wins have come with Haru Takakawa starting, so he gets Norwood to go around and miss. A good start from him.
Norwood's a player that I'm going to be watching out in the infield tonight. As we were watching him last game, Gabe and I turned in the mics over to Will and Riley, getting a chance to call a game, and a little bit of Jackson thrown in there as well. But Norwood fouling that ball off at the plate, going down the count 1-2, was not really being the most efficient out there at shortstop. A lot of the plays he was receiving were, honestly, the best word I could probably say for it is lazy.
Yeah, there were several plays where Norwood looked to just miss the ball or create an error, and that was definitely costly for North Missouri. I mean, they allowed 14 runs to come across, a slew of hits, and I mean, hopefully they can hold the Mustangs off here in game 2, but 7 innings, there's not a lot of time to put across a whole lot of runs. Your game is cut short, so that definitely changes your game strategy. We'll see on a 1-2. He grounds out one up the right field side. A nice fielded single by Jaden Little, and that'll be good for out number 3. The Mustangs head back to the dugout.
After 2.5, Mustangs still tied 0-0. If you're still following us here on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. We're trying to reach a goal of 1,070 subscribers, currently sitting just a hair shy of 1,060. Make sure to share and follow along. We love getting to listen to you guys and love having you join us here on the stream. But we'll be right back here on your home of the Mustangs right after this.
Staff members, and I believe your husband behind us They are underneath the sheet, and when we hit the music, they're going to dance. All you have to do is tell us which one is your husband. Let's go ahead and hit the music, and let's start dancing. Here we go. We can turn now. Wow. Well, look at the scenes. I'm watching you guys over there. You're number 1, number 2, number 3. Which one can be your husband? I don't know, Marilyn. Let's see if you can do it. Tell everyone. Number 2. Let's see if she knows her husband. Number 2. Take it out. There he is. She did it tonight. She can recognize those dance moves anywhere. Look at that. Great job, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I paid 15. I'm joking. I'll never sell that pickup. I'm gonna blow it. I'm sorry. I just wanted I would feel bad truly because I don't know how much this race life got it. Truly. I've gotten $500 out of it, but I just put on the real work, load on the real work, so I don't know how much that's the reason I bought it. Like, I bought it for gas.
Welcome back to the home half of the third inning, where Norman Davis, the opening day catcher for the Mustangs, makes his triumphant return. Hasn't seen action since the first couple weeks of the season, just recently signed back onto the roster today. Takes that first pitch inside for a called ball, and Norman coming in to fill in the shoes of Boston Bruce, who Gabe was just mentioning earlier, having a season-ending injury. There's a swing and a miss, and Norman evens the count out at 1-1. Norman not too particularly offensively prowess at the plate. Able to get a couple of hits in his limited time with the Mustangs as he swings and misses through yet another pitch from Thompson Spadafora. So the count now 1-2 here on Norman. Waiting on deck will be Chris Coy and Frank Call in the hole. The 1-2 offering taken way outside, and that goes all the way to the backstop. That's a slider that's unable to get controlled by the catcher, Cole Irwin. So the count now evens out at Norman Davis, 2-2, looking to make any sort of contact after two huge swings and misses.
And Norman Davis, he's getting his first appearance since being released from the team and added late and past the deadline tonight. He was added on, and he's going to hit a nice single into right field. He'll make his way to first for his first base hit since, I believe, early June.
Yeah, Norman Davis not playing since week 2 of the Mustangs season. Able to deliver a fastball right over the head of the second baseman, Grady Ruska, into right field for the leadoff base hit. And Mustangs have a man on for the top of the order, Chris Coy, who flew out to center on his first time up, making his way up for the second time tonight. Good battle there by Norman to put himself over at first, and he's currently standing over, hunched over, looking like he might throw up. I don't know. He is looking like something is definitely not okay. It is really hot today. Could be a little bit dehydrated.
Yeah, he is playing catcher. They're going to get him some water. I think he, as gross as this is, I think he did throw up over there down the right field line. He'll head his way back to first. And yeah, we do want to say it is extremely hot. Heat index is over 100 degrees earlier this afternoon, as well as into earlier this evening. Just, I would say, about an hour ago, the weather still sitting at a crisp 91 degrees. It still feels like 93, and it is warm. Owner Kai Turner going out and handing fans out to the crowd here at Phil Welch. trying to stay as cool as possible.
So the count now 0-1 here on Chris Coy. Check swing there. He's able to hold off on a pitch just a tad outside. So the count now 1-1 as he's able to hold off that nice fastball right there on the outer half of the plate. Thompson Spadafora sending that next pitch outside and back to the backstop. Count now 2-1. So a 2-1 count after Norman Davis able to scamper his way to second base via the wild pitch. Runner in scoring position for the second time tonight for the Mustangs, and that fastball runs high and tight. Coy able to stay out of the way of that one. He's now in a very favorable count, 3-1 here. Nobody out in the bottom of the third inning. That next pitch fouled high and down the left field line, out of play. Coy now facing a full count. Dangerous situation here for Thompson Spadafora. Thompson Spadafora really taking his time on the mound here against Coy. The full count pitch is swung on and grounded over to third base. There's no play over at home. The runner decides to stay, but Coy able to make it over to first safely. Davis staying over at second base. And Chris Coy with the infield single. So back-to-back base hits for the Mustangs to lead off the bottom of the third inning. It's going to bring up Frank Gall, flying out to left field his first time up. A great fielder out there in right, getting the day off his feet. Charles Stevens stepping in for him today. It's been good out there. That's a fourth outfielder. First pitch, Galsey sends it out into right field, and coming on to make the grab is the right fielder, Carson Irwin. And the throw back into the infield is not in time. The runners have to scamper back to their bases, but Frank Gall retired via the F9 for the first out here in the bottom of the third. So coming on up, Braden Lucart, a single his last time up. Takes a strike right in there. So down in the count, 0-1. Braden Lucart, one of the Mustangs' leaders in nearly every single offensive stat this year. Having an absolutely incredible season, and that's why he and Jaden Little are your Mustangs MVPs of the regular season. Routinely saw them as players of the game for their consistent contribution. A little an opportunity to help the Mustangs bring across their first run of the game. The 0-1 offering is sent high and down the left field line, but out of play. So the count now 0-2. Quick talk between Lucart and the catcher, Cole Irwin, making sure everything's okay. Norman Davis, not much of a speed threat out there at second base, but a solid base hit could potentially plate Chris Coy over at first as He's got excellent speed, does lead the team in steals coming into this game. 13 on the year. Good take there by Lucart as the count now goes to 1-2. We're nearly halfway through a 7-inning game tonight here on YouTube. This is the final home game of the regular season for the Mustangs. And in other news, Chillicothe now taking a 7-6 lead over Joplin. Game that is a must-lose for Joplin if the Mustangs are wanting to be able to secure that third spot in the Mink League playoff race. Lucart now facing a 2-2 with 1 out. The pitch. That's been inside and bounces back to the backstop. So the runners are going to be able to take their free 90 feet. Another wild pitch by Thompson Spadafora. And Chris Coy makes his way to second. Norman Davis over to third. And now 2 runners in scoring position for Brandon Lucart. A base hit should plate 2. Little agreeing with the sign from the catcher. Sets and delivers. And that's outside for ball 4. Lucart able to draw the full count walk, and the bases are now loaded full of Mustangs for Jaden Little, the recipient of a 5-pitch walk back in the first inning. And not the guy that you want to see up to the mound with up to the plate with only 1 out. Bases loaded. Thompson Spadafora sitting over 40 pitches now. Having to work a little bit more this inning. He's had a couple of quick innings. But the Mustangs really starting to lay it on him here. It's Norman Davis, Chris Coy, and Braden Lucart all reaching base. That pitch taken on the inside, and it is a hit by pitch on the forearm. Jaden Little pointing it out, and the home plate umpire saying yes, it did indeed hit him in the forearm. So a hit by pitch RBI for Jaden Little is going to bring home the first run of the game, and Norman Davis. And the Mustangs now lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. Bases are still loaded for Carson Schrack. Grounded out to first his last time up back in the first. Thompson Spadafora giving up his first run of the game. Having a very sticky situation here. Infielders playing at usual depth. That first pitch taken inside for a called ball. Second and short are playing back, trying to get the double play. But first and third, not really worried about the potential for a bunt. Schrack sends that one out into center field, and that's going to be a base hit. Coming over to cut it off, the center fielder, Gage Scott, and that's going to be able to plate 2 runs as the throw to home was late. A 2-run RBI single by Carson Schrack is going to make the score now 3-0 in favor of the Mustangs. Chris Coy and Braden Lucart coming home to scamper around. Jaden Little makes his way over to second, and Carson Schrack able to triple the Mustangs' lead. There's still only 1 out here in the bottom of the third, and Micah Kobacheski is going to come on up for the second time. He flew out to left field, and that's going to prompt a mound visit here tonight. First one of the evening for the Nattys. They come in, as we were talking about earlier, just absolutely exhausted. 10 players on their roster, 9 of them having to be on the field at once. Nattys, a first-year team playing out of Kirksville. 2 hours drive due east here from St. Joseph. Replacing the former Jeff City Mink League team that was bought and moved to a different summer collegiate league over the offseason. But the Nattys, a successful first year, looking to find any way that they can improve into their second season next year and try to cap it off with potentially making a run in the playoffs next week. Count now 0-1 on Micah Kobacheski as the Mustangs are going in and looking for their 11th championship. Won their 10th last year, and that's just an absolutely incredible feat for the Mustangs. Since the Meek League was officially organized in 2009, the Mustangs able to win 10 of the 17 possible championships so far. I should say 10 of the 16 possible championships. Now have the opportunity for an 11th. There's a swing and a miss by Micah Kobacheski, and he's retired for a strikeout. First strikeout of the evening for Jace Thompson-Spadafora. Now with 2 outs, Eden Myers coming on up, and the Mustangs are doing most of their damage this year with 2 outs. Eden Myers a fly out to center his last time up on a relatively easy play for Gage Scott. Has an opportunity here to extend the Mustangs' lead. The outfielders are shading him slightly to pull. So there's a big gap out there in right center, but that's hit up the middle and just past the reach of the shortstop Norwood for the base hit. Round comes Jaden Little, and Carson Schrack halts over at third on the 2-out RBI double by Eden Myers. Mustangs now lead 4-0 here in the bottom of the third. Carson Schrack with a 2-run RBI single, Eden Myers with a 1-run RBI double, and Jaden Little with a 1-run RBI hit by pitch to bring in the scoring today for the Mustangs, as we're sitting almost through 3 full innings, 0 runs on 0 hits for the Nattys, 4 runs on 5 hits for the Mustangs so far. Coming on up is the 9th batter of the inning, Charles Stevens. Grounded out to the pitchers last time up. And he takes that one way inside, nearly hits him, is able to dart out of the way right in time as he goes up in the count 1-0. And next pitch to Stevens, a called ball, so the count now 2-0. Very favorable count against Jace Thompson-Spadafora, a product of William Woods University from Fulton, Missouri. Division II, playing in the NAIA. Stevens sends a nubber over to the left side of the field. It's a tough play over to first, and the throw is not in time. Charles Stevens with a swinging bunt to bring home yet another run. That's an RBI single for him, and the Mustangs now lead 5-0 here in the bottom of the third, with runners now on the corners for Norman Davis. Led off this inning with a softly hit single over the head of the second baseman, Grady Ruska, and he's coming on up for his second time this evening in the exact same inning. Coming on home is Carson Schrack, and moving his way over to third is Eden Myers. So Norman Davis has an opportunity to help blow this game open as the Mustangs have taken a commanding 5-0 lead. Thompson-Spadafora having to utilize over 30 pitches already in the inning. First pitch he delivers to Norman Davis, and his second time up is called for a ball. Davis now 1-0 in the count. Next offering is swung on and missed, and Davis really struggling to see a lot from Thompson-Spadafora. It's his third swing and miss already, but he's able to make contact. He's able to make it pretty productive. We've already seen the single so far this game. 1-1 offering is fouled right at the plate, and Davis, finding himself in an 0-2 hole, is down to his final strike. Mustangs with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third lead 5-0 over the visiting Nattys of North Missouri. Pretty full crowd here tonight. Probably right around 2,000, which is about just under our season average here. Still impressive to see so many people here with such a high heat index. That's a called strike 3 on the outer half of the plate. Davis ain't happy with that, but he goes down looking for the second strikeout of the inning and the third out but not before the Mustangs able to bring across 5 runs. They lead 5-0 after 3 here in your home in the Mustangs. They'll be right back into the top of 4th right after this.
If you're looking for a great deal on your idea, you only have one opportunity. Now, you're welcome. If you're feeling reserved, socializing for lifetime remembers the fifth court because over the time. Our students are paying attention to the flexible options. Losing off, segregation off, maybe the first grade.
Going into the 4th inning with the Mustangs up 5-0, and please pardon our technologies. We're having a little bit of tech issues with our camera. We'll try to get that up as soon as possible. But in the meantime, you'll get to hear a little bit of a radio broadcast from us here in the booth. That second pitch to Grady Ruska is fouled off to the side, so he goes down in the count 1-1. Ruska, a ground out to short his last time, up on 6 pitches. And there we go, our camera now fixed. Still facing Haru Takakawa, having a really good outing out there. There's a liner right up to the second baseman's Winkler. The toss over to first is in time. Or should I say Carson Schreck out there at second. The count of 1-1 is driven out to second for out number 1. 4-3 ground out there by Grady Ruska. And Cole Irwin making his way up to the plate for the first time this evening. I should say second time. He also had a ground out to short back in the first. Takakawa going out for his 4th inning of work. Having a pretty good night so far. 44 pitches through 3 innings. It's right about the average you want to be. About 15 pitches per inning is the type of workload you're wanting to see if you're the opposing team. Meanwhile, the Mustangs through 3 have had to utilize 55 pitches from Jace Thompson Spadafora. Count 1-0 here on Irwin as that first pitch is missed. Next pitch taken low and away, so Irwin up in the count 2-0. Not something you see very common from Haru Takakawa, one of those guys that is able to strike you out a lot. Had a 10 strikeout game a couple of weeks ago. That's his season high, and one of the league leaders in strikeouts. The Mustangs coming into today second in the entire Mink League in strikeouts. And next pitch taken down low and over the plate. So the count now 3-0. Takakawa looking to work his way back into the count. He sets and delivers a slider low and away. Takakawa walks Irwin on 4 pitches. It's the second walk tonight given up by Takakawa, and that's going to bring up Vinny Dale. A fly out to left his first time up. That makes him 0 for 1 on the evening, and Takakawa looking to reset after allowing that 4-pitch walk. Not something you see very common from Haru. Some pretty decent command out there this season. Occasionally he'll let the walk slip out. Vinny is set after swinging his bat a couple times out there in the left-handed batter's box. First pitch to Vinny, though, is taken way inside a fastball by Haru. So the count now 1-0, and Haru, after getting a first batter out in a string of 5 straight balls, looking to find the zone here. 1-0 offering, taken just a tad low. So the count now 2-0. And that's going to prompt a mound visit between Norman Davis, Carson Schrack, whose shirt is nearly falling off, and Eden Meyer sitting over there at third base. Making sure Haru's everything's okay. And folks, we are just reached 1,060 subscribers. If we're able to reach 1,070 by the end of the game, we're going to be able to broadcast tonight's fireworks for you guys. We were able to do that last week, and we'd love to do it again. So make sure you subscribe to the Mustangs YouTube channel. Just click that little button right down below, and make sure to give us a like and share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe if they want to watch some fireworks. I know 4th of July was a few weeks ago, but that doesn't mean you get to finish your fireworks until New Year's. There's a ball hammered out into right field. Going back on it is Charles Stevens, and that is gone. A 2-run blast by Vinny Dale brings the score now 5-2. And Haru Takakawa, giving up his third homer of the year, ends his bid for a no-hitter. Takakawa finally able to locate a pitch in the zone, but unfortunately Vinny was ready. He delivers that way high and deep, just over to the top of the party deck that we have out there in right field, which is slightly obscured by the pole that is just beyond the right angle of this camera. But Takakawa, after giving up his first hit of the game, is now on to face Jack Thomas. 0 for 1 in the day with a strikeout, looking back in the second, and good pitch to start him off with as that fastball lands just on the bottom of the zone. Make the count now 0-1. And next pitch lands just a tad low, so the count even here on Thomas, 1-1. So the bases are now clear. Nattys trying to fight their way back after trailing 5-0. Now trail 5-2. Just swing and a miss, and ladies and gents, Joplin has blown the game open in the bottom of the 6th inning. They now lead 7-12. 6 runs coming across for them, and I'm sorry, it's the bottom of the 4th, and Chillicothe in danger of a run rule. Joplin win would mean that they secure the 3 seed, and St. Joe will secure the 4 seed. There'll be a little bit of Mudcat fans tonight as St. Joe wants the highest seed possible. There's a blooper out there into right field, and coming in to make the catch is Charles Stevens, and that's out number 2 here in the top of the 4th after that F9. Now it's going to bring up Matt Asher, recipient of a full count walk back in the 2nd. One of only 3 Nattys to reach base so far tonight. Two 1-0 for the Nattys, 5-6-0 for the Mustangs. Takakawa looking to get out of this inning, in which led up the first runs of the game. It's a nice off-speed changeup that lands at the bottom of the zone for a called strike. So Asher down in the count 0-1. And Takakawa sitting just a shade under 60 pitches. We'll see how much longer he stays in the game. Nobody over in the Mustangs bullpen, so it seems like Mustangs manager Johnny Coy going to be letting him go the distance. The count now 0-2 on Asher after he takes that strike on the inside corner. The 0-2 offering swung on and missed, and Ashers retired on 3 strikes before the final out of the inning. But not before 2 runs come across via the 2-run bomb by Vinny Dale. After 3.5, the Mustangs are leading 5-2. We're going into the second half of this game. We'll be right back here on YouTube right after this.
Visit the main office at 724 North 27.
And a red, green, or yellow book, so we want to celebrate them. And now, all right, and play it.
Just for about 30 seconds. Get the feel of Christmas.
It was in number 2.
Don't be young ones receiving the best benefit possible by taking in the Dr. Anthony Rizzo. Pediatric give your child the best pediatric dental care he or she needs with Dr. Anthony Rizzo. Well, leading it off, here in the fourth, shortstop is 4.
Welcome back to the bottom half of the 4th inning, where the Mustangs now lead 5-2 over the visiting North Missouri Naturals. And coming up to the plate is going to be Chris Coy, Frank Gall, and Braden Lukart this inning, as the Mustangs able to send around 10 batters back in the bottom of the 3rd en route to bringing across 5 runs. Next pitch that Coy sees is taken right on the outer half of the plate, so the count now 1-1. Coy so far tonight 1 for 2, singled and came around to score back in the 3rd. One offering is a nice pitch right there on the outer half of the plate, but called a ball by our home plate umpire. So Coy now up at the count 2-1. Opportunity to do some damage here as he tries to get back on base. He's been a very successful leadoff hitter for the Mustangs this season, batting just under 300 and providing a lot of runs and a lot of action out there on the base paths. Coy now facing a 3-1 count. After that, next pitch is taken high and outside. The 3-1 pitch goes to the backstop for ball 4, and Chris Coy takes his 5-pitch leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the 4th inning. That's going to bring up Frank Gall, a quieter night for him as he's 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts. It's going to prompt a mound visit between the catcher Irwin and Thompson Spadafora. Everything okay up there on the mound for the Nattys as Spadafora sitting over 60 pitches now. Sets and delivers. Coy off and running on the first pitch, and that ball goes in the center field. Coy with a steal, and he's going to make it over to third base on the error throw by the catcher Irwin. So a stolen base and an E2, bringing him over to third. Excellent opportunity after Frank Gall takes that first pitch for a strike. A ball hit to the outfield, no matter if it's caught or drops will be counting for a run with the speed of Coy. The 0-1 offering taken outside, so the count now 1-1. Frank Gall, a very good hitter here for the Mustangs, just a shade under 300 batting average coming into today. Hammers one down the right field line. If that's fair, we're going to bring a run, and that is a fair ball. Frank Gall deposits that in the right field corner, and he's going to stand at second with an RBI double. The Mustangs now lead 6-2 here in the bottom of the fourth. It wasn't long until Frank Gall decided to join the party, and that was a hard hit line drive double down into the right field corner. Right fielder Carson Irwin able to play it well and get the throw back into the infield in time before Gall decided to try for 3. Back in the first game today, we did see the Mustangs have several triples. Getting one by Tyler Gundelfinger, not in the lineup tonight. First pitch here to Braden Lukart, taken low and outside for a ball. Lukart 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and a run scored this evening. The 1-0 offering is whipped around inside. Traveled the whole length of the plate horizontally, and that's a sweeper slider action from Jace Thompson Spadafora. But the count now 2-0 here on Braden Lukart. Gall sitting over at second base. 2-0 offerings hammered right under the glove of the first baseman, Vinny Dale, into right field for the base hit. The throw to home is a good one, but it's cut off by Davis Dale at third, and an RBI single for Braden Lukart, bringing home Frank Gall, and the Mustangs reclaim the 2 runs they gave up in the top of the inning. They now lead 7-2 over the Nattys. Top of the lineup doing top of the lineup things this evening as the Mustangs are having a great night from the top of their order. And Jaden Little, who's 0 for 0 tonight with a walk and a RBI hit by pitch, coming across for his 3rd time this evening and trying to register his first official plate appearance, as walks and hit by pitches do not go against a batter's batting average. Does go against their on-base percentage, though. It only helps them. Lukart on the run. The throw is way left into the shortstop territory, so a stolen base on a 2-0 count by Braden Lukart, putting him in scoring position for Jaden Little, who has an opportunity to knock in another run for the Mustangs. Offering is a check swing, but taken low. Good take by Little to make the count now 3-0, and the Little 1 ball away from getting on base. That next pitch is swung on and missed. Little was shooting for the stars on that one, and just a little off on that. There's a big rip and a miss. He saw a pitch he liked, and honestly, he probably had the green card to go ahead and try to deport that into left field. Count now 3-1. The next pitch taken low and outside for ball 4, and Little taking his free base for the 3rd time this evening. We've got men at first and second for Carson Schrack, also having a good night tonight, 1 for 2 with a 2-run RBI single and a run scored back in the 3rd. That's going to prompt a mound visit from the Nattys manager, and that might be it tonight for Jace Thompson Spadafora. The entire infield coming in and discussing what the game plan is on the mound.
We'll be at 6:30. Again,
If you're following along on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and share the stream. We're looking for 9 more subscribers to be able to get the fireworks on tonight's broadcast. Tonight's game is only going to be 7 innings, and an opportunity for the Mustangs to run rule them a little bit earlier, as they're currently leading by 5. Joplin now doubling up Chillicothe. They're up 14-7 going into the top of the 5th. So unless Chillicothe is really able to bring back that offense, there is a high likelihood that the Mustangs will be finishing with the 4 seed in the Mink League this year. And that's not to say that it's a disappointing season. The Mustangs not having the same season as last year, but no team really ever does. And baseball is a finicky game, and the Mustangs trying their best to be able to put out the highest quality of baseball they can. They ended up having a little bit of a rough stretch there at the end of June, but really have been able to find their footing here in the month of July. Players in the lineup really starting to heat up and starting to gel in the latter half of this season, and Mustangs are trying their best to finish off the season with a doubleheader win. We have a new pitcher on the mound, Matt Asher, moving from 3rd over to the pitching mound, and we're going to give him a couple minutes to get a couple of warm-up pitches in. We'll be right back here on your home of the Mustangs here on YouTube.
Defensive changes. Then Bristol playing 3rd. Matt Asher pitcher. Gage Scott plays 7th. Now batting. Carson Schreck.
Carson Schreck now up to the bat with no outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Asher, the new pitcher tonight, moving over from 3rd base, and looks like Thompson Spadafora taking his place over at 3rd. Count now 1-1 on Schreck. Schreck taking a quick timeout to reset himself in the backs. One for 2 this evening with a 2-run RBI single his last time up. Another opportunity here as there are 2 men on. Little sitting over at 1st and Braden Lukart sitting over at 2nd base. That next pitch runs inside, so the count now 2-1 on Carson Schreck, who is the 4th batter of the inning. The 5th batter of the inning, my apologies. That next pitch finds itself inside, 2-2. Nobody out so far for the Mustangs as Chris Coy and Frank Gall able to come across. The next pitch taken outside for a ball, so a full count to Carson Schreck from Matt Asher. First relief pitcher tonight from the Nattys, who have a very depleted roster. Only 10 players today, as there's a high fly ball down the right field side that might stay fair, but it's hooking out of play. That's going to land just behind the Mustangs dugout into the concourse, and count still staying at 3-2. And this is a kind of an oddity tonight. The Mustangs have been really aggressive. This is only the 4th at bat in which a player has reached 6 pitches. Schreck looking to see his 7th pitch here against Asher. And he takes that pitch outside for a ball, and Carson Schreck able to get on base to load him up full of the Mustangs. Bases are now loaded for Micah Kovacheski, the lone Mustang tonight to have yet to have reached. He's 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. St. Joseph looking for a win tonight. They won 14-4 in the first game of the doubleheader, which is even more impressive given that Nattys came into the game today already up 3-0. It was a resumption of the game that happened on June 26th that got rained out due to some lightning. Kobacheski swinging and missing, and now down the count 0-2. And that was in a period where the Mustangs were just not having any sort of good things happening on their side of the ball. Pitching was letting them down. The offense was getting quick outs. They were staying impatient. Kobacheski takes that outside, make the count 1-2. But a completely different team here tonight as they piled on 10 runs in the bottom of the 7th to be able to secure the 14-4 victory. Count even now on Micah Kobacheski, 2-2. Kobacheski with an opportunity to help the Mustangs blow this game open. Mustangs only have 1 grand slam on the year. Kobacheski is yet to record his first home run, so a great opportunity here against Asher. And Kobacheski lines that one out into right field for the base hit. Center fielder Gage Scott misplays the ball, and that rolls all the way to the backstop. 1 run is home, 2 runs are home, 3 runs are home, and Kobacheski is going to stand at third base with an RBI bases clearing triple. The Mustangs plate 5 runs for the 2nd consecutive inning. They now lead 10-2. Lukart, Little, and Schrack all coming home on the triple by Kobacheski. Every single Mustang has reached base tonight, and that's going to bring up Eden Myers, who had an RBI double his last time up, with an opportunity to knock in another run. First pitch to Myers is taken high and inside, nearly hits him in the head. With the count now 1-0 on Eden. He's making the start at third tonight, giving Seth Winkler a day off as Carson Schrack moves over to second base. The 1-0 offering taken high and inside yet again. Eden Myers up in the count 2-0, and this potentially could be the last action we see of him this season. One of the most valuable bench pieces the Mustangs have. He can play anywhere on the infield. Up in the count now 3-0, and had a rough season this year, but has picked it up a little bit as of late, these past 1 or 2 weeks. 3-0 count is taken down at the knees for a called strike. Myers looked to be taken all the way there. Charles Stevens is waiting on deck. He would be the 9th batter of the inning in a game in an inning in which the Mustangs have yet to record an out. Myers grounds that one over to second. That's going to bring home a run, and the 4-3 fielder's choice ground out is an RBI one at that. Mustangs now lead 11-2 as there's now 1 out and the bases are empty for Charles Stevens. Kobacheski coming home to score his first run of the evening, and Charles Stevens 1 for 2 tonight with an RBI single back in the third, and opportunity to help this Mustangs team continue to play well as Norman Davis is going to be waiting on deck. He has had both his plate appearances last inning. That next pitch is taken high to Charles. 1-0 the count, who's played it most of the season in right, had a couple of games out and left this season. Good corner outfielder for the Mustangs. Count now 2-0 as Asher's trying his best to locate anything. 3 batters in and 2 of them have reached. There's a hard hit grounder down the right field side, and that's going to go into right field for the base hit. Charles Stevens with his 2nd hit of the evening. Parks him up at first for Norman Davis. Norman 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a run scored. the first and the last batter in the third inning. Struck out looking his last time on a pitch that was way inside, but called a ball by our home plate umpire. I called a strike by our home plate umpire. There goes Stevens on the first pitch. It's high for a ball, and Stevens is going to make his way over to second with a stolen base. The ball trickles into the outfield, and Stevens blushes a turn over to third, but ultimately returns safely back to second. And a first pitch stolen base, as Norman Davis is now in a 1-0 count. And it was a called strike to begin the at-bat, so Norman Davis instead in an 0-2 hole. Swings and flies one lazily down the left field side. It's in the foul territory, and coming over to make the grab is number, looking like 13, Grady Ruska. He's moved over to third base. Thompson Spandafora potentially moving over to second. So there's 2 outs off of the foul out to third. And Chris Coy coming on up for his 4th time this evening, and it's only the 4th inning. Coy was the leadoff batter this inning, and walked, stole a base, and came around to score on the double by Frank Gall. Coy sends that one on the opposite way, and that's going to land foul. So count even at 1-1 here to Coy, who's been having a good night tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a new guest here in the booth. We got Jackson.
Howdy, y'all. As you can see, Mustang's doing great right now. Feel bad Tyler's been all alone this entire time.
Gabe having to go take a break is down in the stands helping out the promo team right now, and Jackson coming up to fill his spot as Mustangs lead 11-2, and Jackson, the Mustangs have sent 10 batters up for the second straight inning.
Second straight inning. I'm not going to lie, I was busy doing a presentation in the press box. Did not see that happen last inning. I think you can see why they got run ruled last game in the first game of the doubleheader.
The Mustangs currently up 9 on the Nattys, and an opportunity to run rule them yet again as that next pitch to Chris Coy lands high and takes his trot. It looked like it might have been ball 3, but I guess the scoreboard was wrong. Coy is taking a 4-pitch walk, and that's going to put 2 men on for Frank Gall, who is batting for the 4th time tonight, 2nd time this inning, had an RBI double his last time up.
Like I said, they're calling him the Big Yahoo for a reason. He's launching these balls all over the place. Frank is absolutely raking. Hopefully he can drive in a couple more runs here. Oh,
Frank sends that one high down the right field line. It's playable, and that's going to fall for the base hit. Chris Coy making his way over to first, and Frank Gall with an emphatic swing of his arms over at first. That's another RBI single for Frank Gall, and the Mustangs now lead by 10. They're up 12-2. It's a blooper that we've seen Frank hit a couple times this season. First, second, and short. My apologies. First, second, and right were all coming in on trying to make the grab. Miscommunication for the Nattys.
You know, there was a similar play in the first game where you had the second baseman, first baseman, and left fielder all converging on a ball like the Bermuda Triangle, as Will said in the previous broadcast. But it's just poor communication out there, and also Frank just being aggressive going after the first pitch there.
Frank not seeing a lot of pitches tonight. His longest at bat was back in the 4th, where he swung and hit a double on a 1-1 count. But now there's runners on the corner. Still only 2 outs here in the 5th inning. My apologies, the 4th inning for Braden Lukart coming on up for his 3rd time tonight, for his 4th time this evening.
There's currently a wasp in the booth.
And there goes Gall. The Gall father is going to be able to get an easy snag of second base. That is the 3rd stolen base of the inning for Mustangs runners. And
I know this isn't a part of the game, but if you hear somebody scream, it's because there's a wasp. There it is.
And And that ball is lined out into center field for the base hit. Braden Lukart bringing home 1 run. Gall retreating back to third base. Would have had the opportunity to score as that was a bad throw it back into home plate. The Mustangs have now played it 8 so far in the inning, and they lead by 11. The score is now 13-2 in favor of the Mustangs.
Do we know what's happening in the Joplin game? Because if they are losing currently, the Mustangs have put themselves in a great position to go ahead and put themselves into the 3rd seed.
We do know what's happening in the Joplin game. It is currently the bottom of the 5th inning. Chillicothe's put across 7 runs already on the Jailbird pitching, but Jailbird putting across 16 runs as there is a high ball deep out in the left field and back to the wall. That is gone. A 3-run homer for Braden Lukart. That's his 5th home run of the season. The Mustangs now lead 16-2.
An absolute clinic being put on here. I didn't even see him swing. That's how far that ball went. There's currently a wasp in the booth, and Will's in the chat distracting me.
A nuke dropped by Braden and Lukart as the Mustangs have just absolutely piled it on. Coming on up is Jaden Little, still with 2 outs. Jaden Little was the last batter that Jace Thompson Spatafora saw, and that was all the way back at the beginning of the inning.
And honestly, Tyler, I think there has to be one question that's asked. Is there a mercy rule per inning?
I do not believe that there's a mercy rule per inning, but our scoreboard is unable to show double digits in 1 inning, so it looks like there's only 1, but the Mustangs having played at 11, and there's another base hit for the Mustangs. Jaden Little sending that one out into right center field. He's going to try to stretch this for 2, and with his speed, he's in standing as the ball is dropped by the shortstop, Devin Norwood. The Mustangs now up to 15 hits on the night.
Norwood there, I thought had him at second. He didn't even slide. He was in there standing up, but then dropped the ball afterwards, so it didn't even matter. That was a great opportunity for them to get out of the inning, but it continues on.
The Mustangs have now batted around on just Matt Asher alone. Matt Asher did not face the 4 batters of the innings.
And, you know, it's also... Guys, I can't multitask. I'm a terrible multitasker. I'm trying to read chat and watch a baseball game at the same time. There's a pickoff, and I think
it looks like the inning is going to get called, and going back to home is Carson Schrack, who was going to be on for the 2nd time this inning.
That was probably the weirdest end to an inning I think I've seen.
And a mercy rule to the inning, I guess, Jackson.
That was a semi-mercy rule. You could say they threw back. Wasn't the best pickoff move that I've ever seen, but still, I mean, it got him by 5 or 6 steps.
Yeah.
Completely got him lacking there.
Completely got him lacking as that was a pickoff, and the Mustangs giving up the last out. And after 4, they now lead 16-2 here on your home of the Mustangs. We'll be right back right after this.
Oh! We got a winner over here with the multi-color team. Congratulations.
All right, here's tonight's winning 50-50 number. We'll look out on the video board. That number is 411.
Welcome back to the 5th inning where the Mustangs are leading 16-2. And the Wasp has returned, Jackson.
It's back in here. I mean, we've gotten some questions in the chat about how big is it. I'd say it's probably one of the biggest wasps I've ever seen. It's about 4 inches long.
Mustangs currently leading 16-2 after that base hit by Carson Irwin into center field over the head of Chris Coy to lead off the inning. And the Nattys trying to recuperate after being down, after giving up 11 runs in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Analytically, they are still in this ball game. They had a nice single up the middle to start the inning off. There is a chance that maybe they turn things around here. However, I mean, you just got to take it one run at a time at this point, because you look at the scoreboard and it's like you're climbing Mount Everest right now for the Nattys.
I would say a mountain in Missouri, but I don't believe we have a mountain in Missouri.
Yeah. That is true. That's a good suggestion from Nathaniel in the other booth. The Ozarks do have mountains.
The Ozarks, yeah.
Or at least hills.
I do believe that they are mountain-ish down there in the Ozarks.
I've never been. I've never been to the lake down there.
You've never been to the Ozarks?
I have never. I have friends who have gone, but I have never gone.
I'm actually from the Lake of the Ozarks. That's where I've been living the past couple years. My family moved out there when they moved from Texas.
And I've heard that you've been absolutely putting in the work down there.
Oh, yeah. Work down there at a bar, and that's my side gig here.
Shout out Land Shark.
But the count now 3-2 at Gage Scott. And, folks, if you ever want to see me off stream, I work at Land Shark Bar and Grill down there in Lake of the Ozarks, the Margaritaville Resort. You can catch me out there as there's a ball called strike 3 on the outside. Haru Takakawa still out there, relieved of that pitch, as that looked like it might have been a tad outside, but Gage Scott down with the looking K for Haru's 5th strikeout this evening.
And I was told before the game started that they were going to let Haru go out there, maybe throw 50 to 60 pitches. I got that from one of my sources. But, you know, they're letting him go a little bit longer here. He's up to 67 pitches.
Haru Takakawa looking to maybe throw 60 to 70 pitches tonight as he delivers a first pitch swing and a miss to Jace Thompson-Spadafora.
And I know some of the pitchers have been kind of considered for the playoff push, but, you know, as Haru's been one of the most consistent and solid starters, so you kind of wonder how long they're going to let him go and when he will be ready to play next week, as the Mustangs do play Monday at 6:30 here at Phil Welch. So if you're looking to catch a Mustangs game, it might be your last opportunity on Monday, because it is a best-of-1 single elimination game, probably against, I don't know who we're playing.
If the Mustangs win and if the Joplin Jailbirds win, then it will be against the Chillicothe Mudcats, who are currently trailing 7-16 at Joplin tonight. If the Mustangs win and Joplin loses, it will be a rematch against the North Missouri Nattys.
Ladies in the chat, stop fighting. It's okay. You can both be my sources.
But there's 2 outs now after Thompson-Spadafora strikes out for the second time this evening. Takakawa up to 6 strikeouts. And that's going to bring up Devin Norwood for the 3rd time tonight. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out.
And I'm sure we've mentioned it once or twice already that the Nattys are here only with 10 players. So they are working on a very limited rotation of guys. Probably one of the factors in scoring 11 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, if I were out there as a Nattys player, I'd just be absolutely wiped by this point. You've been playing baseball for 4 or 5 hours at this point.
You've already played one pretty much whole game, because it started bottom 1, but that is absolutely plastered out to right field.
It's a beautiful hit and run by Devin Norwood, as that allows Carson Irwin to make his way all the way over to 3rd, the first Natty runner to advance to 3rd since the home run by Vinny Dale back in the 4th. Devin Norwood with the single, 2-out single, but runners on the corners for Grady Reska, 0 for 2 tonight with 2 groundouts.
As Wham plays here in the stadium for Christmas in July here at Phil Welch.
Do you have a favorite Christmas song, Jackson?
My favorite Christmas song? Ooh, that's a good question. I always enjoy the memes about Mariah Carey thawing in November, getting ready to return.
I do think that is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
time.
But I also think that, I mean, you can't go wrong with Wham either.
It's the count now 1-0 on Grady Ruska. So he takes that pitch just a tad high. The count now 2-0.
I think something happened because there's kind of a stench up here in the booth as the runner takes off for second, and there will be no one covering and no throw. But then again, you know, kind of advancing to second there is kind of like Paul George hitting a huge 3 at the end of the game to cut the lead to 42.
You mean Chris Paul?
Chris Paul, sorry.
Equally, I'd say equal tiered player is.
Really? Going to the basketball talk.
I would put Chris Paul a little bit higher. Paul George, I feel like, is one of the most overrated players in basketball of all time.
I can get behind that take. I can get behind that take. I think did you see the trade that Philly made where they pretty much handed him over for a bag of chips?
It was a bag of chips to Philadelphia by Boston. And for Jaylen Brown, who finished top 5 in MVP voting last season, and his first year as the lead role player.
No, I mean, you go and you look, Tatum is out for, 90% of the year, and Jaylen Brown led them to the playoffs. I know the relationship between the Celtics and him wasn't the greatest, but I'm not really sure why they let him go.
Especially not at that price. Paul George and 2 firsts just does not fill the bill for a player that's going to be top 5, especially to a division rival and conference rival in Philadelphia, who just happened to sign the second greatest player of all time, LeBron James.
I'm glad it was second greatest. We're throwing the second on there?
We are throwing the second on there.
All right.
Michael Jordan will forever be the greatest of all time, as there's a swing and a miss by Cole Irwin.
Will not argue that. I think that's a completely valid take. I also think I was about to say we're going to mention the elephant in the room of LeBron going there. I have heard from people, my sources.
Your sources?
They say that Philly won't be a title contender because of the depth of their team is just not there. And I somewhat disagree. I think they are.
I will disagree on that too.
Yeah, I think they're heavily into the finals, or heavy favorites to go there, because I think the East, for one, is just not as stacked as the West is. As I remind you all, we are watching a baseball game and not an NBA game, even though,
I would love to see basketball here in Missouri. We don't have a team in Kansas City. We don't have a team in St. Louis.
The Kansas City Kings. They were here. Moved to Sacramento.
That's a good pull.
I would love for a team to be here, except if we were going to get the Kings back, because they are an absolute dumpster fire.
That is not
franchise.
the organization you really want to be a part of right now if you're in the NBA. That ball's high. The count now 2-2.
I always think about when players get drafted, it's like, are you looking at the team that drafts you and you're thinking, holy cow, I'm going to this poverty franchise? Or is it, you're just happy to be there?
See, that was one of the biggest things I was thinking about when the draft came around. Darius Acuff Jr., very talented freshman from Arkansas, was targeting the Kings. That is the team that he wanted to play for. And I'm like, why would you not want to go to the LA Clippers, who have maybe Kawhi Leonard, maybe Brandon Ingram, several good pieces out there in Los Angeles, or other teams that were ahead of the Kings in the draft? But
yeah, and I think the Clippers last year were a very sneaky team because they picked up Benedict Mathurin as well from the Pacers.
Another good player. And
they picked up Garland too, and I thought they had a pretty decent young core, but they go and trade away Kawhi, or pending trading Kawhi.
Pending trade of Kawhi over to Toronto.
So I thought that they had a pretty good chance too, but now that the trade may or may not go through, they've kind of shuffled their core all around. So we'll see how they... Well, I also have heard, going back to the Philly argument, imagine if they had not traded Jared McCain to the Thunder.
That would be an insane lineup, as we are going into the bottom half of the inning, and that is actually going to be the end of the game. That was the final inning for the Mustangs of the regular season. They are going to run rule the North Missouri Nattys by a score of 16-2 after 4.5 innings. But thank you so much for tuning it in, folks. The Mustangs finishing the season on a win and awaiting the results in Joplin, who currently lead Chillicothe 16-9 in the top 6. We'll see you on Monday at 6:30, either against the Nattys of North Missouri or the Mudcats of Chillicothe. And we will be back with you guys then. Thank you so much for tuning in during the regular season. And I'm Tyler Engerbauer.
I'm Jackson Meyer.
And let's go Mustangs.
Opponent to the game. We want to thank all of you for all your support this year. We have fireworks coming up shortly. And we'll sit it down to the field for the player of the game and the half ballers in the press box. Thank you all. So the cookies, all the candy, all the food you brought us over this year. And we'll see you again on Monday. Good night, everyone.
A wonderful set of 2 games tonight here at Phil Welch. We've got your player of the game, Braden Lukard here. Wade. All right, Braden, right off the bat, it is a hot one out here. How'd that feel?
I just felt pretty good.
You had a phenomenal game tonight. 3 for 3, 5 RBIs, 1 home run, which was a 3-run shot, 3 runs scored on your own, and a stolen base. What a game from you. What are you looking for heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's just playing our rank baseball and staying confident.
All right, I'm going to ask the same question I asked Tyler earlier. Do you have anything to say? Final Saturday night game, more than likely. What do you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, just thank you guys. Thanks again for coming out here, giving us support. Not to be safe over the summer, so whenever you get a chance to play.
All right, thank you very much, Brady. Phenomenal game. All right, we're going to have some fireworks coming up here shortly. Thank you all for coming out. Wonderful potential final Saturday night here at the Welch, and it's been a blast.